All right, my fine American history friends, we're beginning another great lesson today with the Second Red Scare, Culture of Fear. We're going to kick this off by talking about the catalyst of the Second Red Scare, the end of World War II, which was ended via the dropping of not one but two atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki by that of the United States. Although this was a technology that helped propel the United States into the New World stage as a world power post-World War II, the USSR didn't exactly appreciate the fact that US held this technological, level of edge over them, and by the same token, they didn't appreciate that they were kept out of the creation of such a technology with that of the Manhattan Project. Other countries such as Britain were let into the kind of inner circle of the United States aims, but the USSR rather was not. This helped create a level of uncertainty between the relationship between these two powers and the new post-World War II political landscape, which is why we really have this discussion of the containment of communism coming about this period. Russia after World War II really sought to build up a development of countries to its west that held kind of communist aims. So in case it was reinvaded by Germany, it would have that level of allies because, again, it had a tentative position in terms of allies post-World War II. The United States, however, really saw this as an encroachment onto its own level of national security, as communism was seen as an undermining agent of that of the American pillars of democracy, as well as that of an incompatible ideology with America's capitalistic system. So there's many ways that they interpreted this as something that needed to be stopped, whether it be via the formation of NATO, a organization of countries that really sought to have the containment of communism as the cornerstone of their proceedings, or even the United States policy of NCS 68, a top-secret policy that really, again, placed containment of communism at its forefront via the build-up of technological advents, so as to establish that technological edge over Russia, who obtained the atomic capabilities as well in 1949, which really set about, or helped set about, this continued culture of fear. The United States question as far as where is their level of security kind of holding in this new post-World War II landscape, which is why in the Truman period, we have our lovely friend Truman here actually taking upon himself to create the Truman Doctrine, again a policy that sought to contain communism, and in this same period he likes to establish loyalty oaths within his administration to assure that there's not communist subversion within that of the government, patching back critical secrets to the USSR, especially atomic critical secrets. It was widely believed that this subversion was the reason why Russia was able to gain atomic capabilities. The United States was on edge of who exactly is a subversive element within that of the government. Really, this kind of level of thinking comes about by examples such as Alger Hiss, an individual within government who was accused of being a communist, patching back secrets to, USSR agents. And if you recall from my previous discussion of the Rosenberg couple, they too were convicted for patching back secrets on an atomic level. So you can kind of see why it is exactly the United States has such a level of fear of looking over its shoulder, of checking checking those who roam amongst them for communist subversion. One of these figures is Senator Joseph McCarthy, who in HUAC proceedings, the House of Un-American Activities Committee, which was established to, again, suss out who was a communist and who wasn't, he accused over 100 individuals of having those kind of levels of communist sympathies. And while he didn't actually have a hard and fast list of aims, this level of fear took off within that of the American nation, especially, again, when you're talking about the threat of atomic holocaust being on the docket, which is why you have Hollywood and other such, media productions of things like our beloved film Duck and Cover, which I showed you guys, detailing what to do if perhaps the atomic missiles do end up coming in. Now, by the same token, you have a great rise of science fiction in the period, again, touching base with this level of fear. That's why you have this super great movie that I'll show you guys later in this lesson, or at least a clip from it, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I hope you've heard of at least. And this details, again, the fact that through sci-fi means they want to touch base with the theme that those amongst us are not what they seem. They're trying to change what is all and great and powerful and good about that of America. Although Hollywood produces things like this, which help really kind of feed into this culture of fear, and America allows these things to be produced, the House of Un-American Activities cracks down on things like the Hollywood 10, a group within Hollywood of screenwriters and so on who really refused to testify in the House of Un-American Activities that they were or weren't communists. They were producing movies like Salt of the Earth, after they were accused and blacklisted from Hollywood, that touched base with themes that were aligned, or at least seemed to align, with communist ideology of promoting equality within labor. By the same token, you have films even such as It's a Wonderful Life being accused for levels of communist propaganda for that kind of potshot the film takes on that of big American business, which is kind of thematically equivalent in the minds of many as, well, what does capitalism really stand for? We're going to delve in thicker into Coldmore Media in a second with our lovely Nearpod, so do stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much. This has been another American history lesson.